Chosen one, they're whispering again. Not because you're loud, but because you're quiet and accurate. You've always seen through the masks people wear, through their carefully chosen words. You've felt the truth long before it was spoken. And now it's becoming clear to others, too. They don't know how you know, but you do. The things you've always sensed, the energies you've always picked up on, have made them uneasy. Not because you're wrong, but because you're right. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. They've tried to downplay it, to brush it off, but the reality is this: your very presence shakes them. It forces them to confront the things they'd rather hide. You were made to see what they cannot. And in this video, we're going to uncover why that truth scares them and why it empowers you. The power of prophetic silence. When you're silent, the world around you feels it. It's not the silence of absence or emptiness. It's the silence of presence. People can sense it in the room. Your calm, your stillness, your ability to simply observe without reacting. While others rush to fill the space with words, explanations, and justifications, you stay quiet. That quiet unnerves them. They don't understand it. They don't know what you're thinking, but they know you're seeing. And that seeing without saying is what makes them uncomfortable. They can't hide behind their usual defenses because your silence reflects something deeper back to them. It forces them to reckon with what they've been trying to ignore. In this video, we'll uncover the profound power in choosing not to speak and why your silence carries more weight than they ever expected. If you've ever felt misunderstood for staying quiet, you're not alone. It's a challenging place to be, watching others scramble to prove their points or seek validation while you simply hold your ground. There's a kind of weight to it. Can feel isolating, even lonely at times. You might have wondered why you can't just join the noise, why you don't feel the same compulsion to explain yourself. But that stillness you carry is part of your purpose. It's a gift, not a flaw. When you stay quiet, it's not because you don't have anything to say. It's because you know that words aren't always necessary. And when you do speak, your words come from a place of clarity and power. Even in Scripture, we find moments where silence speaks louder than any declaration. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah waits for God. Not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the still small voice. It was in the silence that the divine was revealed. Similarly, your silence holds that same kind of prophetic power. It creates space for truth to emerge, for illusions to fade, and for clarity to settle. It's not just an absence of noise. It's the presence of insight. Your quiet doesn't mean you're disconnected. It means you're deeply attuned. They might not understand it, but they feel it. And that feeling unsettles them, because it's not something they can easily explain or dismiss. You may have started to notice certain shifts around you. The way people seem to second-guess themselves when they're near you. The way their tone changes or how their words falter. They might even avoid direct eye contact. It's not because you've done anything wrong. It's because your silence has created a mirror. Without saying a word, you've reflected something back to them. Something they weren't ready to see. Maybe it's their own insecurities. Maybe it's the truth they've been avoiding. Either way, your presence shifts the dynamic. And as you become more aware of this pattern, you'll begin to understand the immense power in simply holding that space. It's not about control. It's about clarity. That clarity is no accident. It's a reflection of divine timing and alignment. What feels like intuition is actually a form of spiritual discernment. You're not just sitting in silence, you're listening at a deeper level. You're picking up on subtleties, on the vibrations beneath the surface. And because of that, you're always a step ahead. You see things before they fully form. You understand motivations before they're spoken aloud. They don't know how you know, but you do. And that knowing is a gift that's been carefully cultivated, not by shouting to be heard, but by staying quiet and tuning into what truly matters. This is the moment when everything becomes clear. You realize that your silence is not passive, it's active. It's not retreating, it's advancing in a different way. When you stop worrying about filling the void, you start noticing what's in that void. It's like turning down the volume on a noisy room and suddenly hearing the whispers you never noticed before. You begin to trust that quiet. You understand that it's not a weakness, but a strength. And you see that the very discomfort others feel around your silence is proof of its power. It's a reminder that your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Now, you can embrace this gift fully. No longer do you need to explain why you're quiet. You no longer need to justify why you don't engage in the same frantic debates or arguments. You recognize that your silence is not for everyone. It's for those who are ready to listen, ready to see, ready to grow. You let go of the need to be understood by all, and instead focus on aligning with the truth. In that alignment, you find strength, and in that strength, you find freedom. Comment quiet if you feel the power of your silence. You're not here to be like everyone else. You're here to stand out, not through noise, but through stillness. This is your power. This is your gift. This is why they feel you even when you say nothing at all. Comment no if you feel this quiet power within you. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community. A private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join the Prop Heron membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Spiritual discernment versus surface behavior. Your journey into spiritual discernment began long before you even realized it. There were moments in your life when you knew something was off, before anyone said a word, before anything obvious happened. You could feel it in the air, like an invisible shift that only you could sense. At first, you may have questioned yourself, wondering if you were imagining things or overthinking. But time and experience proved you right. You weren't just guessing. You were seeing. You were sensing what others tried to hide, what they couldn't even admit to themselves. And that ability has only grown stronger, more refined, more undeniable. It's no longer just a feeling. It's a knowing. This video will explore the gift you carry, the challenges it brings, and how it sets you apart as someone who reads energy, not just behavior. If you've ever felt out of place in a conversation or a crowd, it's not because you're antisocial or overly cautious. It's because you pick up on things that others don't. You notice the slight shift in tone when someone's words don't match their intentions. You sense the underlying tension even when everyone is smiling. This can feel like a heavy weight to carry because it often sets you apart. While others are chatting, laughing, and moving through life on the surface, you're diving deep, picking up on subtleties that most people overlook. It can be isolating, even lonely, because not everyone operates on this level of awareness. But this is your gift. It's what allows you to understand what's really going on, even when no one else sees it. In 1 Samuel 16 verse 7, we read, "The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." This passage speaks directly to your gift. While others judge by what's on the surface, how someone speaks, what they wear, the image they present, you're drawn to the truth beneath. Your spiritual discernment mirrors this divine perspective. You're not content with appearances. You seek authenticity. And that's why your interactions feel different. People sense that you're not looking at their masks or their roles. You're seeing their essence. And that can be both unsettling and transformative. As you embrace this gift, you'll notice that your life begins to shift in unexpected ways. People may start coming to you for advice, even if they can't quite explain why. You'll find that your intuition sharpens, that the gut feelings you once doubted are now more accurate than ever. You might even experience moments of clarity about your own path, realizing that certain relationships or environments no longer serve your higher purpose. These are the signs of transformation. Your discernment is no longer just a feeling. It's becoming a tool that helps guide you through life with confidence and grace. And as you continue to trust it, you'll see how it opens doors you never thought possible. What you're experiencing is not random. It's not a coincidence. It's divine alignment. The very fact that you see through surface-level behavior is evidence that you're moving in spiritual truth. Higher forces are at work, ensuring that you have the clarity and insight to navigate the challenges before you. Every moment of confusion or doubt has led to this, a season where you no longer second-guess what you know deep down. Instead, you step into the fullness of your gift, understanding that this discernment isn't a flaw or a burden. It's a sign that you've been chosen to see more, to know more, and to lead others toward the same depth of understanding. At some point, you'll realize that you've always had the answers. The situations that once left you feeling uncertain now seem straightforward. You'll look back and see how every moment of doubt, every instance of questioning yourself, was preparing you for this level of clarity. Now, you don't just know what's happening, you understand why it's happening. And with that understanding comes a deep sense of peace. This is a sacred moment, an opportunity to fully embrace your gift and to stop hiding it out of fear or self-doubt. You've reached a turning point, and from here, everything changes. This is the time to own your spiritual discernment. Let go of any fear that others won't understand. Release any doubt about whether you're too sensitive or too aware. Instead, recognize that your ability to sense what others cannot is a blessing, a tool, a calling. Step forward with confidence, trusting that what you see and feel is real. Trust that your discernment is not just for you. It's for the people you'll help, the lives you'll touch, and the paths you'll guide. The more you trust yourself, the more you'll inspire others to do the same. Comment discern if you've ever felt that deeper knowing. This is your time to step into your gift, to fully accept the power of your spiritual insight, and to let it guide you into the life you were meant to lead. You're not here to blend in or follow the crowd. You're here to lead with vision, clarity, and purpose. Your discernment is your strength, and it's what makes you truly unique. Energetic mirrors. Why people avoid you. People have always seemed to act differently around you. Perhaps it started subtly. Someone pulling away during a conversation, a friend who became distant for no clear reason, or even family members who seemed uncomfortable in your presence. You may have asked yourself what you were doing wrong, but deep down, you know it's not about your actions. It's about your energy. You don't just walk into a room, you bring a shift. Your very presence seems to hold up a mirror to everyone you encounter, showing them aspects of themselves they're not ready to see. This isn't something you do on purpose. It's just who you are. But the impact is undeniable. It can be confusing, even painful, to feel avoided by others when you've done nothing to provoke it. However, what you're experiencing is not a rejection of you. It's a rejection of the truth you reveal. Imagine being a mirror that reflects not just someone's outer appearance, but their inner self. You show them their insecurities, their unhealed wounds, their hidden motives. For those who are unprepared or unwilling to face these truths, the easiest response is to distance themselves from you. They don't understand why they feel uneasy, but they do. And so they avoid you not because they don't like you, but because they're not ready to confront what you make them see. It's as if your energy holds up a lens that magnifies everything they've tried to bury. This can leave you feeling isolated, misunderstood, or even questioning your own value. Yet it's not your worth that's in question. In fact, it's the very clarity and authenticity you bring that makes you so impactful. In 1 Corinthians 13 verse 12, Paul writes, "For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face." This scripture captures the essence of your role. You are not a mirror that flatters or deceives. You are a mirror that reveals. While many people are content to see only the surface, you show them a deeper truth, one that challenges them to grow. But not everyone is ready for that. Just as Paul acknowledges that we don't fully see clearly in the present, many of the people you encounter aren't ready to confront what your presence shows them. It's not a failure on their part, it's a step in their journey. And your part in that journey, while challenging, is profoundly important. Over time, you may start to notice patterns. The people who avoided you before might eventually return, more open, more honest, more willing to engage. This is a sign that they're beginning to face their own reflection. Your energy is no longer something to run from, it's something to lean into. Meanwhile, others who were once strangers might be drawn to you, sensing a depth and authenticity they crave. These are the signs of transformation. Your presence is like a lighthouse. It doesn't chase the ships, but it guides them. Some ships will stay away, but those ready to navigate the dark waters will find their way to you. What's happening behind the scenes is nothing short of divine orchestration. God is using your presence to do what words cannot. Without confrontation or argument, you become an agent of change. The energy you carry is a divine tool that stirs the hearts of others, prompting them to consider their own path, their own truth. This is not a coincidence or an accident. It's a calling. Your life is aligned with a higher purpose, and the discomfort you cause is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of success. It means you're fulfilling your role as someone who helps others see beyond their illusions. Eventually, you come to a place of acceptance and even gratitude. You realize that the avoidance you once took personally is actually a testament to your spiritual growth and alignment. People's reactions are not about you. They're about the transformation you ignite. Once you embrace this, you stop worrying about how others perceive you and start focusing on the work you're called to do. Your energy becomes a quiet force, steady, consistent, and undeniable. And as you settle into this awareness, you find a profound peace in knowing that you don't need to change who you are to make others comfortable. From this new understanding, you begin to walk more boldly in your purpose. You no longer seek to be accepted by everyone, because you understand that not everyone is ready for what you bring. Instead, you stand firm in your role as a mirror, reflecting truth, clarity, and light. You welcome those who are drawn to you, and you let go of those who aren't. Your path is not about chasing approval, it's about embodying authenticity. And as you continue on this path, you'll find that the right people, those who are ready to face themselves and grow, will come into your life. You'll inspire others to step into their own truth, not by forcing it, but simply by being it. Comment, reflect. If you've ever felt like a mirror in someone else's life, you're not here to make everyone comfortable. You're here to help them grow. Your presence, your energy, your truth, these are your gifts. Use them with courage and confidence, and watch as the world around you begins to change. Spiritual calm that looks like supernatural luck. In a world that constantly seems to spin out of control, many of us struggle just to keep up. We wrestle with the stress of making ends meet, the pressure to meet everyone's expectations, and the gnawing fear that we'll never quite measure up. It's easy to feel like we're just one misstep away from everything collapsing. Yet here you are, seemingly unaffected by the chaos that throws everyone else off balance. People notice it. They don't always say it out loud, but they see how you navigate the turbulence without flinching, how you manage to keep your cool when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. And it's not because life never tests you, because it does. It's because you've tapped into something deeper, something steady that others haven't quite found. You exude a calm that speaks volumes, a peace that makes others question what they're missing. When others struggle and stumble, they often look at you with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. How does everything always work out for them? They wonder. They might chalk it up to luck, thinking you've stumbled upon some cosmic lottery ticket. But you know better. It's not luck. It's alignment. What they perceive as random fortune is, in fact, the result of an internal shift. This calmness you carry isn't just about staying composed. It's about being deeply connected to something greater. You've learned to trust the timing of the universe, to move in step with it rather than against it. And in doing so, you've cultivated a sense of peace that no storm can shake. People don't understand why you don't panic when deadlines loom or when challenges arise. They can't see that your calm isn't denial, it's discernment. You can see solutions forming even before the problems fully appear, because you're operating from a place of spiritual clarity. In Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." This verse embodies the essence of your spiritual calm. You've chosen to lean into trust rather than fear, to listen to divine guidance rather than the noise of the world. When you stopped relying solely on your own limited understanding, you opened the door to a higher wisdom that now guides you. This is why you appear calm while others are in chaos. You're no longer fighting against the current. You're moving with the flow of God's timing and direction. And that alignment, the kind that the world can't explain, makes all the difference. People who look at your life may see only the results, the external success. They don't see the quiet moments of surrender, the prayers spoken in the stillness, the deep faith that underpins every choice you make. But you know it's all connected. Over time, this calm alignment starts to show up in unexpected ways. You find yourself at the right place at the right time. Opportunities come to you effortlessly, not because you're chasing them, but because you're positioned for them. Challenges that used to feel insurmountable now seem manageable, even meaningful. You notice that your energy attracts a different kind of people, those who are also seeking alignment, clarity, and peace. They come to you for guidance, sometimes without even knowing why. They're drawn to the calm you carry, the way you stand firm in the face of uncertainty. They may not use the same words, but they're inspired by your ability to stay centered. And you realize that your calm isn't just for you. It's a gift that ripples outward, influencing everyone you encounter. But this calmness isn't something you were simply born with. It's something you've cultivated. It's the result of choices, choosing to trust rather than worry, choosing to pause and listen rather than react, choosing to lean on divine wisdom rather than your own limited perspective. These choices, made over and over again, have shaped you. They've refined you into someone who no longer chases peace, but radiates it. You're not pretending to be unshaken. You're genuinely at peace because you've come to understand where your strength comes from. And that understanding is unshakable. It's a peace that surpasses all understanding, just as Philippians 4 verse 7 promises. This is why people often misunderstand your calm. It's not that you're unaware of the challenges around you. It's that you've learned to meet them with faith instead of fear. Of course, not everyone is comfortable with your calm. It can be unsettling to those who are used to constant drama and urgency. Your peace may seem foreign, even frustrating, to people who thrive on conflict or who find security in chaos. Some may interpret your calm as arrogance or indifference because they can't comprehend the source of it. But that's not for you to worry about. Your role isn't to explain your calm to everyone. It's to embody it, to live in alignment, to remain steady, and to let your example speak for itself. Those who are ready to understand will see it. They'll sense the difference, even if they can't put it into words. And for those who aren't ready, your calm will still serve as a silent reminder that another way is possible. A way that doesn't rely on luck, but on spiritual alignment. As you continue on this path, you'll find that your calm grows stronger, your alignment deeper. You'll see more clearly that what others call luck is simply the result of living in harmony with divine timing and purpose. You're not just navigating life, you're flowing with it. And that flow carries you to places you couldn't have reached on your own. You're no longer distracted by the noise around you. Instead, you're focused, grounded, and in tune. This is your true power. This is what sets you apart. And this is why the world can't help but notice, even if they don't fully understand. They think it's luck. You know it's so much more. Comment peace if you've experienced this spiritual calm and know it's not luck. It's alignment, the rise of the quiet ones. There was a time when you felt invisible, not because you lacked talent or potential, but because the world wasn't ready to see you. You knew you carried something unique, an ability to perceive what others ignored, to sense what others missed, but it stayed hidden beneath the surface. While others clamored for recognition, you worked in silence, refining your gifts, growing stronger in the dark. You didn't rush to be seen. You didn't seek validation from the crowd. Instead, you waited until the time was right. And now, here you are, fully formed, fully present, fully aware of what you've become. Those who once overlooked you can no longer deny your presence. They see it now. The quiet one has risen. But that rise wasn't sudden. It wasn't accidental. It was a process. For years, you were honing your craft, learning the deeper truths, becoming the person you were always meant to be. It was during those quiet moments, when no one was watching, that the most important work was done. You faced your doubts, your fears, your insecurities, and you came out stronger. The world may think you appeared out of nowhere, but you know better. Every step, every struggle, every silent victory was building toward this moment. And now that you've emerged, your growth is impossible to ignore. They might say you've changed, but you haven't changed at all. You've simply become visible. This journey is echoed in the story of David, who was anointed king long before he ever wore the crown. For years, he lived in the shadows, tending sheep, facing lions and bears, all the while developing the courage and faith he would need for the throne. When the time came for him to step forward, people might have thought he was unprepared. But in truth, he had been preparing all along. Like David, you've been growing in obscurity, building a foundation that can now support the weight of your calling. They didn't see your struggles, but they can see your strength. They didn't witness your trials, but they can see your triumph. And just as David's rise was divinely orchestrated, so is yours. Now that your light is visible, the signs of transformation are everywhere. You walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts. People turn to you, drawn not by what you say, but by what you carry. Your confidence is different, quiet, yet undeniable. Your insight is deeper, cutting through surface appearances to the heart of the matter. Those who once dismissed you now find themselves looking to you for guidance. It's not just that you're noticed, it's that you're respected. They might not understand what changed, but you do. This is what happens when a quiet one rises. It's not a loud ascent. It's a steady, unrelenting movement upward, guided by purpose and fueled by faith. What they don't realize is that this rise was never about proving them wrong. It was about proving to yourself that you were capable, that you were chosen, that you were ready. Every moment spent in the background prepared you for this. You didn't need applause or approval to grow. In fact, it was the absence of applause that taught you to rely on something deeper. That inner strength is what makes you unstoppable now. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to demand attention. Your presence is enough. Your growth speaks for itself. And as you continue to rise, the same people who overlooked you will have no choice but to acknowledge the truth. You were always meant to lead. At first, this newfound visibility might feel strange. After so much time in the shadows, it can be overwhelming to stand in the light. But you're ready. The quiet season wasn't just a time of waiting. It was a time of preparation. You've been equipped for this moment. Your voice, once soft and tentative, is now steady and sure. Your purpose, once a distant dream, is now a living reality. You've stepped into your calling not because someone handed it to you, but because you claimed it. And now that you've risen, there's no turning back. The quiet one has become the leader, and the world can't help but notice. As you move forward, remember that the rise isn't about a destination. It's a journey. It's about continuing to grow, continuing to learn, continuing to embrace who you truly are. The same patience that carried you through the quiet years will carry you through the challenges ahead. The same faith that sustained you when no one was watching will sustain you as the world watches now. You don't have to change who you are. You don't have to conform to their expectations. The very qualities that set you apart in the shadows are the same qualities that will keep you grounded in the light. Trust that your rise is not only necessary, it's inevitable. Comment rising if you felt the shift. If you know you've been growing in the dark and are now ready to step into the light. You're not alone in feeling that pull deep inside, the one that tells you there's more to this life than what you've been taught to accept. You've felt it for years, that sense that you're meant to do something extraordinary, to make an impact that goes beyond the day-to-day grind. But even with that inner knowing, it's easy to doubt yourself. Maybe you've wondered if you're strong enough, if you're prepared enough, if you even deserve this kind of purpose. Let me tell you, those doubts aren't signs of weakness. They're part of the process. They mean you're waking up. You're beginning to see that your journey isn't just personal. It's part of something far greater. That's why you're here. That's why you're listening now. When you think about how you got to this point, it wasn't a straight path. You've faced rejection, setbacks, and moments when it seemed like you were standing still. There were days you felt invisible, and nights you questioned whether you'd ever find your place. You might have even looked around and thought, how do I fit into a world that doesn't seem to value what I bring? But here's the thing, those challenges weren't meant to stop you. They were meant to shape you. Every moment of doubt, every step back, every time you felt overlooked, those were the fires that refined you. They prepared you for a greater role, one that you couldn't have stepped into without those lessons. You weren't being rejected, you were being redirected. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your energy is already speaking. They feel it, they fear it, and they can't stop talking about it. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. Keep walking this path, chosen one. The world is watching,